Hello, welcome back to my channel. So let's talk about Courtney and Josh. So Courtney's like super frustrated with Josh because he only has a few days left before he has to move in with his cousin, because he was only allowed to just quarantine with Courtney. He can't actually live with her because she's on probation. So she's frustrated because they've only did it a few times. He spent majority of his time playing video games. So she's laying in the bed and she's like, "Babe, what are you doing?" He was cooking noodles. She's like, "You want to do it?" And he's like, "No." And he's like, "Maybe later." And she's like, "No, you always say maybe later and you never do it." And Courtney was just like, "I just don't understand why you don't want me. I sacrificed and lost my job for you." And it's really messing with Courtney mentally, feeling like she's not good enough or he's not attracted to her. So Josh is like, "I don't know what you want me to do. I can't get it up right now." And she says, "I want you to get it up." He's like, "Well, I don't know what to tell you. I'm 30 years old. I'm reaching that age." And then even if he can't get it up, he can take care of her other ways. So Josh was telling Courtney, "I love you. You want a bite of this soup? What's wrong?" She's like, "I'm just really annoyed. Things aren't like how you promised they would be. You always talk to me on the phone when you're in prison saying, 'I can't wait to use your thighs as earmuffs.' And now, you talked a big game, but you ain't following through." And Courtney said, it's one thing not feeling like you want to do it right then and there, but it's another thing not wanting to show her any affection. And like I said, I think they have two different love languages, and Courtney's one of those people that needs reassurance and she needs affection. And she said that's another thing she's frustrated about. Josh promised he wouldn't do all this couple type stuff and cuddle and hold hands and be close all the time. So Courtney's crying. She says, "I just want it to be like how we talked about while you were in prison." And Josh was like, "I've done everything I'm supposed to do. Things are great." And Courtney said, "Well, they're not great for me." So then Josh started to finally explain to producers, and it kind of makes sense why he is the way he is. So he was in a maximum security prison, so he didn't have no cellmate, so he's not worried about being around someone else and making sure they're doing all right. He's just used to being solo. He has his own little routine and things he does to entertain himself. So it's a big adjustment for him to finally live with his wife. And Courtney's super upset, and she hates the fact that Josh still keeps in touch with all his buddies he was behind bars with, but he was behind bars for 11 years. He has some lengthy relationships with some of his friends that he was in prison with, so she can't expect him to throw all that away. So Courtney already especially hates the fact Josh talks to people he was locked up with, but she especially hates the fact that he sits on the phone and giggles and jokes around with them. And she's like, "Why can't you giggle and joke around with me like that?" But I think, Josh has stronger bonds most likely with people he was with prison for all these years compared to Courtney, and he's probably more comfortable, and they got their inside jokes and stuff. When you're behind bars, you don't have nothing to do besides get to know people. And Courtney doesn't understand why Josh wants to talk to his friends from prison and wonder what's going on there because he's not there anymore, but I just think he's trying to be supportive. He has long friendships with these people, so she just can't expect him to stop being friends with them. And she says she is jealous when it comes to Josh because she's concerned since he's been locked up since he's 18. She's afraid that he may want to mess around. And Josh says he just talks to his buddies from prison because he feels sympathy and he's built bonds with them. And Courtney's upset because she feels like Josh is showing all his friends from prison sympathy, but she feels like he's not showing sympathy towards her. And Josh told Courtney, "I love you, babe. You know how much you mean to me. All those letters and emails I wrote to you from prison. I was behind bars." And Courtney just said she just wants reassurance. She just wants to hear him say those same things he was saying in prison, but to her face, in this short period they have together before he has to move out and with his cousin. But then Josh had to talk sideways to her and pissed me off. So Courtney's crying. He's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Nope, it don't matter what I am," and walks off. And Josh was like, "Okay, there you go with that dumb ASS attitude." And come on, man, you didn't have to say that. She's already upset. You should be comforting her instead of making the situation worse. And Courtney's just super upset because she says she sacrificed her job, she went to jail, she's on probation, she says she'd give up everything for Josh, and she just feels like he ain't giving back the same in return. She has these expectations set, and he just is not meeting them. He said, well, at least we're talking about things right now and figuring them out. And Courtney says, you know, she fell for Josh because she thought he would be the first person to understand her. But, you know, when you're in prison, you're going to talk a good game, of course. But let me know your thoughts about Courtney and Josh in the last episode in the comments below. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you for watching.